I hope it says mic muted.
Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast, stories of inspiration, where we talk about mental health, addiction, religion, becoming a business owner and self-sufficient, for what, when, where, and why. Join us and we can be your local hope dealer.
Inspiration and dedication. I came a long way from sleeping in them pages. I got my life back, I feel amazing. Life's a book, don't get stuck on sad pages. Rainy days with no money, hard work lead to days that are sunny. Looking back, it was all needed. The problems, the pain, the trauma, the grieving. You are now tuned into the prisoner to painter. Prisoner to painter. Hard work, dedication. Rainy days, inspiration. Prisoner to painter.
And now, a word from your local hope dealer.
And we got to the prisoner to painter one because that's been working out very well. So, yeah, I don't know. I think if somebody said a certain word, and Facebook standards don't like that. So, whatever. Which is weird because, we say the F word, all these other words, and and they're okay with that. But I think it was like, like something like that. Yeah. I mean, talking in a good way, but they still were like booted us instantly.
I've noticed they rearrange those words even on TikTok.
Yeah, because you'll get booted. It's crazy. But okay, awesome. Welcome to the Prisoner to Painter podcast. My name is Nathan McDermott, and today rejoining us is Brooklyn. Thank you for coming on, man. Seriously, I appreciate it. I know the first part of this is always a little anxious. I overtalk and I don't know how to ever get it started. So
that's all right. I'm the same way. So we should just get together. We should go well together fine.
Yep. Awesome. So Katie hasn't been feeling good, just to say to the audience, not that we ever need to explain ourselves, but so if anybody's listening and you hear that the sound does not sound that great, please let me know instead of just letting it not sound good. So you wanted to come back on and talk about how bullying is still prominent in adults, and I think that's a very good conversation to have, and I think that's kind of been what we've been doing this week. Yesterday, Chad and Seymour kind of talked a little bit about how men's mental health is kind of overlooked, and Chad being a guy that you would look at normally and be like, man, this guy is like, he's a meathead. And then him talking about mental health and all this, it was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And now having you back on to talk about this, I'm very excited. So
me too.
Awesome. So, well, I guess first questions first is bullying still in adults. So we're talking like 18 and older, probably.
Yes.
Okay.
And even referencing like adult mental health, the ironic part to that is that's something that I advocated for throughout my life, because I noticed that with my brother, had a dynamic where it was the mom and son narcissistic type situation, to where I got to witness that firsthand with him and to see how that affects men and how it doesn't get talked about enough. And ultimately with that situation, it ended up taking his life. So he became just completely overwhelmed, unheard, to where, there's not a definite, as far as his death, it was unknown, but his mental health played a lot into that, and just being bullied by his friends and family, and even his mother was one of our biggest anchors, as was our parents. So it started at a very young age.
She said it sounds really good. Sorry to interrupt you. She said maybe just turn up your input a little, and I was trying to figure out how the hell to do that. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Just to relate, never to compare. I guess I didn't even realize what we were going to be talking about until you just said that. When I was a drunk drug addict, and this is why I like two people conversations, because I get to talk a little more.
Yeah.
But when I was a drunk drug addict, I guess I'd bully Katie. Like honestly, I'd be drunk and I would side with my friends and kind of razz her, and I didn't realize what I was doing until I got sober. I guess I didn't realize how bullying is very prominent.
It is, because it's looked as you get older. You think of a kid when they're getting bullied, right? They're getting picked on. They can't defend themselves. They're an easy target. That doesn't change as you get older.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? I'm far from anybody that you could imagine. If you knew me personally, you'd be like, she would never get bullied. There's no way. She's got too much fire. She can stand on her own. She doesn't take no shit from nobody. But it very much happens. And it was a situation for me. The most recent one was done by my child's father's family.
Understood.
And so that was just I left in 2019.
Okay.
And through that, not only through our relationship, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm talking from parents to grandparents to where it really isolated me. There was a lot of domestic violence in that. And it was, again, one of those narcissistic parenting situations that I even grew up in, and I had to watch my own mother do to us.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things that even when you're in it, you know that it's not right.
Yeah.
Down to picking on somebody, calling them names, even as an adult, like that still affects somebody.
Yeah.
And it slowly starts to take that toll on person. It, like when you're younger, your parents get involved, they kind of separate it. You know what I mean? They shut it down.
Yep.
As you get older, it's something that you don't want to go and tell people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting bullied.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's
who do you have to
embarrassing.
step in? Well, and who do you have to, like, you can't go
You
to.
have nobody to protect you but yourself. And a lot of those situations, you feel like you're crazy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the situation that I was in, and I've been in the last 5 years.
Gotcha.
And still currently in, to the point where it almost wanted me to take my own life. It got really bad. It was the point to where I separated from a domestic violence situation where it was more mental. One incident in particular that I can remember that I did want to touch on was when I lost my brother. I had an apartment that I paid 6 months ahead for.
Awesome.
So it was like, that's another thing with addiction and stuff, in my opinion, is that people play the victim card.
A lot.
I wasn't the victim.
Yep.
I was full blown.
I did it.
Took the shovel,
Yep.
dug the rabbit hole, and I'm jumping in.
Yep.
And if I make it out alive, and that's kind of was my situation. And it was something I had to go through.
Yep.
Losing my brother was very traumatic, and especially the way that I lost him. And then, go ahead.
If you don't mind my asking how, if you could refresh my memory.
So, like I said, his death is on his death certificate. It is unknown.
Okay.
The situation, he was staying in a motel room. His mental health was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
My mom funded all of the drug money, the hotel money, the whole 9 yards to keep him sick.
Yeah.
To need her
Yep.
type of thing.
Yep.
To where it got to the end, and I had a conversation with my brother, and I asked him, I said, if I could give you happiness on a silver platter, if that was even a possibility, would you take it?
Yeah.
And he told me no. He didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
That was the last time I talked to my brother. And then a couple of days go by. We don't hear from him. She was paying for another night after telling him she was going to kick him out and that she wasn't. So it was a back and forth battle. But I knew that night I said goodbye to my brother.
Yeah. Well,
I lost him a long time ago, but it was just from being the drug addict and being labeled that it was always an attack. Like people don't understand those are still our people.
Yep.
My brother had the biggest heart in the world, and I couldn't imagine where he would be in life today had he not been bullied or discredited as a human being just because he was using something to escape the pain.
Yep.
Ultimately, that's what we do. It doesn't matter if it's drugs, sex, coffee, energy drink. It all applies.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But that's ultimately, I do believe, what took his life. It was, I think ironically enough, they couldn't find anything conclusive with his overdose.
Okay.
There wasn't no drugs in the room. There was nothing on him.
Gotcha.
When they did his autopsy, it was the same thing. Nose was inconclusive, body, everything. The death was unknown. But because he had drugs in his system, they labeled it.
That's what they fucking went with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's still very unknown. I have my own speculations on what took place.
Gotcha.
So after losing him, we're 11 months apart, and that took a big toll. So not only did I lose him, I was leaving an abusive relationship.
Yeah. So
with
doubled
somebody,
up, man.
Yes. And even after the memorial, the celebration of life that we had for him, my kid's father wanted me to ride with him to leave the memorial because he had made a scene. By the end of it, he ended up dragging me out of the car and kicking me in my face and leaving me on the side of the road. So where I come in town, I, spiral, I'm I'm running all over town, no place to go. And it progressively just got worse.
Yep.
It was right after we had our daughter, and I just knew that situation was going to be my biggest battle. I got myself into a therapy with Caitlin.
Yep.
She's
such a nice lady, man.
Awesome.
She's so fucking nice.
Cool. Like, she's younger than me, and I never thought that we would connect like that.
Yeah. She's
when I
younger
tell
than
you, yeah,
No shit.
I do. I think she is.
Well, you're not that old. So
no, I'm only 37.
Yeah, so that's why that threw me back. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, right.
But she used to come to the hood and check on me in her little Suburban, and what I called the Burb. And she would drive her little whip, and she'd be like, "Brooke, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
So that kind of showed me that you can come from different backgrounds, but yet you can still work together and create healing.
Yep.
She didn't give up on me.
Nope.
Not one time. And she didn't judge me. There's times where I'd show up to therapy or just to see her, and I was in the skimpiest clothes, and And I think I'm all cleaned up trying to hide my addiction. And she's like, hey, what are you wearing? Yeah, you look great here, you know. But so back to my brother after that, I got my apartment and I was using and everything was falling apart. I moved in town and was staying at a hotel. And then by the grace of God, I did get this apartment. I did pay the 6 months. My mom helped me with that.
Good.
But it was almost like after that, I was her project.
Yep.
And here I was a lot stronger minded than my brother. And he'd always told me that, like, I wish I was as strong as you. Like, you couldn't really manipulate me because my brain works in a different way to where sometimes that manipulation is like playground for me.
Yeah.
Like now I want to, it's not manipulating the manipulator, but it's wanting to understand the manipulator and what you're doing to me.
Well, and I'm a manipulator when I was drinking and using drugs, so I see it. Like you're trying to. I see exactly what you're doing. It don't. That don't work on me.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like it's kind of like an excitement thing. So it's like, where are you going to go with this?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And that's kind of where my headspace was trying to figure out my brother, where he was in life, and then from just even using. The crazy part to that is that during that time that I was using, I still seen my kids. You know, they were always in with Safe People family and those things. Even with my youngest, her dad, I was very open with them. The times that I wasn't at my best, I didn't take my children. Yeah. So it was like during that, I still got to see my kids. Everything was great. Awesome. And then the second that I decided to get my life together is when he took her from me.
Starts pulling this. Yeah.
Yes. And it was like, why now? Why do this to me now? And the weird part to that is that I had made a statement and I said that I would never fight for my child. I didn't feel like I had to. Yeah. Boy, was I wrong about that because that's exactly what I had to do. Yeah. And I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it would come from my own words. It wasn't even about him at that point. Like I expected that from him. Yeah. He has terrorized me for years. Yeah. But it was me that was like, okay.
Man, fuck him. Yeah. I'm sorry, but fuck that guy. Seriously.
And that's really what it comes down to. And it gets worse just because I also have to co-parent with him. The system completely failed me. Yep. So here I am trying to get sober and he takes her illegally from me. I was still married. Okay. And he knew this and there was documentation of perjury. Okay. 100% through the court system. And they still gave him emergency, what is that? It's like an emergency order. Okay. Did they grant, right? I can't think of the word right now, but so they gave that to him. And so I was left standing there waiting for my daughter at the fireworks at Cascades and didn't see her again for 5 months.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So he ran off with her and then
He just kept her from me. He made it seem he used my addiction then. So everything that I had trusted him with and trying to rebuild myself and be open and honest and really putting in the work that was later turned against me. Yep. You know, and even my friends that I had at that apartment it was First in Franklin. I call it Cell Block 5. Yeah. Because it was like the pits of me and the devil. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna dance. Yep. But so we go through for 5 months I didn't see her. My daughter had come to me with some accusations of being hurt and abused through another family member. I did it the legal way and I didn't voice that to anybody. I didn't share that with anybody. I just did what I needed to protect my kid. So not only did I lose my daughter, I had no contact with her for 5 months. I lost everything.
Can I ask a little snippets? Just as we're going, I'm never trying to interrupt you. I just remember the beginning of your story and first off, if a kid says anything like that, believe it because kids don't lie about that, which I'm sure you did. But so I guess my question is, which is that to me, I already know the answer, but I'm still going to ask it. With some of the stuff that happened in your childhood, it was probably easy to believe her.
Yeah, 100%. Because that was a big part. So the first time, and I might jump all over, it's just the way my brain works. That's fine. But you can kind of piece together everything too. But one of, it hit home for me as far as those accusations. Yeah. And I was currently staying at the Aware Shelter at the time. Okay. When these accusations were brought up to me, I finally got her back. So we're staying at the Aware Shelter. We had stayed with her father, actually, after my mom passed away for a short period of time. Okay. He became very possessive, obsessive with me, and got the wrong idea. Ended up assaulting me. Gotcha. He goes to jail. This is where the bullying starts with the family. Yep. So they're attacking me to where I basically had to hide myself in his home while he was in jail. They showed up with a bunch of friends. They were trying to break into his house, even though I was supposed to be staying there. Yeah. So CPS gets involved. They take me and the kids out. Good. They put us in the Aware Shelter. Good. And that was a turning point for me. I'd never been that low. You know, I'd lost my mom at this point. She died of broken heart syndrome. I lost my house. I lost the man that I was truly in love with. I lost everything, my kid. It was just back to back.
Yeah.
It was enough for anybody to just not want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I lost probably like 40 pounds and was real skinny and just really sick. Once I did get her back though, things did change. And being in the shelter was huge. That was like I've never felt more safe in my life. At 30 some years old, that shelter was the biggest blessing. And I thought the type of person that I was, a little bit pampered and a little bit spoiled, wasn't going to be able to handle it. This was a whole new life for me.
I just donated some money to them. They
Yeah.
do big friggin' things.
Yes. If I had ever gotten to a position where that I could give back, that would be my place.
Awesome.
A lot of people don't want to put in the work,
Mhm.
but they expect
The result.
the results,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they expect it handed to them. But I promise you, if you do the work in that place, they will be there every step of the way.
Yeah.
And so once we left the shelter, I ended up obtaining my own apartment, and that's kind of was like our reset for me and my girls. I had my girls back. I'm sober. I did, you know what I mean? I put in the work.
Yep.
But when I say I put in the work, I used to walk all over this town.
Mhm.
My anxiety was so bad, and I was so worried about this family. They would drive past my house. The sister seen me walking with groceries one day after I gotten my daughter back
Mhm.
and called me a crackhead and was making fun of me because I didn't have a car. Knowing I had just lost my mom, you know,
Mhm.
everything that was going on, they would stalk me up and down the road to where I wouldn't leave my house.
Yeah.
Like it almost put me in a psychosis of a very bad mental spot.
Mhm.
I forgot where it's going. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Katie actually talked a little bit about this, and I really wanted her to sit on this one because she
Yeah.
has a lot that lines up. But she tells a story, so I feel okay with saying it. Her ex Dave, pretty big piece of shit. Like I mean, if there was like I don't know, if there was 1, 2, and 3 of the biggest piece of shits, I'm sure he's in the top 5, like for sure. And you know, he'd go to work, or well, I guess he didn't work, so he would go do whatever the fuck he was doing, and he'd have somebody watch the house to see if Katie left or not. I'm like, that is,
and that's what they've
crazy.
done. I mean, it gets worse.
Yeah.
So after that, once I got her, it was like a big slap in the face to them.
Yeah.
They had drained their bank accounts. They drug me through court. I'm
Yeah.
living in the shelter. I'm taking the city bus to get my kids to school.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
a complete reset. And I've got her. They didn't see her for, I think it was a whole year.
Mhm.
And it wasn't done on purpose. It was
Yeah.
the fact that the system wouldn't understand. Not only do I have these people attacking me,
Yeah.
they took my child illegally. You allowed it.
Yep.
And they're still harassing me. And there's years of domestic violence with this man.
Yeah.
So not only am I having to protect my child and still do what's right for her because that's her father, I'm also having to deal with somebody who is my abuser.
Yeah.
I just said this 3 weeks ago to a judge
Mhm.
that didn't understand it either.
Yeah.
So it's been a thing, and it's been continuous for years. Like it's probably the worst domestic violence bullying situation that I've ever been in.
Mhm.
I didn't even know people even went through these type of things, or
Yeah.
you could cause somebody that much pain.
Yeah. See,
So-
that pisses me off about families. I actually and I don't know her well enough, but this lady named Marison, I have her on my Facebook. Her and it's all public knowledge, so I'm just gonna drop the names. Her ex Damon or Dame, some shit like that, beat the shit out of her.
Mhm.
She goes to the hospital. He gets posted on the Jackson County mugshot page.
Mhm.
His family's up and down there blaming her.
Yeah.
I'm like, so do families like just like not going to make the guy responsible or hold accountability? Your kid, brother, whatever, beat the shit out of her.
Right.
Like he deserves anything that he has coming to him.
Right.
I mean, I think families think, oh, hey, yeah, like if I say this or I do all this, it's like it doesn't change nothing. You're just giving him the opportunity to keep on fucking.
That's what happened with my brother. My brother, you know, he hit women.
Mhm.
He was a product of his father,
Yeah.
but that becomes with the narcissistic abuse. And
Yeah.
so even with this family, it was like retaliation all the time. Well, your brother is this, and I know what he was.
Yeah.
I don't accept that.
Yeah.
And my brother knew that. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean I didn't have a relationship with my brother.
Yeah.
And there's no statute of limitations, so I can't figure out why he's not sitting in prison for the things that you guys that are being said that it's been done.
Exactly.
Where are you guys at?
Yep.
Because my brother will pay for that price if those are the things that he committed.
If he
did to
actually
you.
did it.
If
Yeah.
you did it,
Yeah.
correct. So you're trying to put a label on somebody. I mean, the things that they said that family said about my brother, it was really sad because in actuality, some of those secrets that I still hold of her father,
Mhm.
my daughter's father, is that actually about him.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of sexual things that have happened in that family that I know of to be factual and standing to where the accusations that happen with my daughter, if you look at it and you take the file that I have at home and you put it together,
Mhm.
or even pay for a lie detector test for me,
Yeah.
will prove that there's a 99% possibility that this is truthful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had nobody standing behind me. It looked like okay, well, she's in court for custody. So now she's gonna go after this other person for attacking her daughter. But really, all the facts are there, and nobody wanted to listen to me. When I tell you that even the investigators, it's in CPS reports of them basically favoring this family and paying no mind to me.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest obstacle, is being able to maintain myself or my children. But that's where faith comes in. Yeah. And that's where determination comes in. One thing about me is I'm not a liar. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I would never put that jacket on somebody. You're coming from a woman who's been abused her whole life. One being my father at 15 years old, putting a sawed-off shotgun in my mouth, ready to blow my brains away, and making me sit in front of a room full of people and tell me to open my mouth, and puts the shotgun in my mouth, and beat me from one end of the house to the other, to where I couldn't eat, I couldn't function. That was my first domestic violence situation. It was with my father, and it's like it progressed after that.
You know what I was taught? If you're telling me something that's wrong, let's say you're telling me something that's wrong, and I just go along with it, I'm just as guilty as you.
Right.
So whoever was in that room is just as guilty, if not more guilty, than your dad. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'd actually even go a step further and say they're a worse type of person.
Yeah. There was a whole house full of people, but the way that my father was he's got a very demonic side to him that a lot of people didn't want to approach. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he would grab women up by their throats and just body slam them on the ground. A lot of that comes from his stuff, but you have to hold yourself accountable. Yep. That's one thing I learned through life. And even in through all of this last 5-7 years, I've maintained who I am. Yep. You know what I mean? I have my own feelings towards this family, but I fought. And I fought and I fought. And like I said, they drained their bank accounts. They made fun of me. They all came storming into the courtrooms to try to use any type of evidence or pictures later on to try to take my kid away from me. I had a court-appointed lawyer and walked away with full custody. Yep. Well,
and it speaks to your character, which I already know you're a good person. So, so I don't have to be, swayed or anything. Like, I already know you're good, but it just speaks to your character, because you keep saying this family and you keep saying all these things. So even with everything they've done to you, you're still trying to give them some anonymity. Like, it just speaks to your character.
And I have, and I've given them chances, and I've, forgiven them for certain things, because I can understand mental illness, and I can understand even where her father, the way that he was raised, his dad was part of the Avengers. And so he comes from a lifestyle that's very different. Yeah. But he didn't like me from the jump. Like, and him and I had that conversation. So it was but it was years of it. And it's like, when I left, it got worse. When I left in 2019, I never went back. Yeah. When he was sentenced to 6 months in jail, I left. Yeah. I left $100 on the table. I gave him his tax money. We parted ways. It was my house. So at the end of the day, he wasn't there. So he didn't run that house. Yeah. And that's some of the things that they had problems with, is because they couldn't completely control me. Yeah. It was like, okay, well, we're going to try this, or we're going to shut the lights off, or we're going to take her kid. Yeah. We've got money. You have nobody. Your family's dead. Nobody wants to be around
you.
Trying
to force your hand. Yeah. Trying to. I'm glad it didn't work.
No, and it didn't. So once I got custody back of Journey, like I said, we got the my daughter, we got the apartment. I upgraded to a bigger apartment.
Awesome.
I tried the co-parenting thing. But back to the one situation that I did want to touch on that was a very major point for me, as far as the respect with him. And what it looks like is, even if you have a child with somebody, when you're dealing with domestic violence and you're dealing with the bullying part, there was a time where I tried to go into rehab and give that a shot. It was like 2 days, I think I was there. Okay. I was heavily medicated with all kinds of medication that I'd never put in my body. I'm more of the holistic healing, heal yourself type thing. But I wanted to give this a shot, because that's what everybody wanted. Even down to my mother. I played the part of being the drunk in the truck and looking up and looking at her as she's got a bottle laying next to me, hoping that I drink it. You know what I mean? Like, poor me, look at this little victim kid. And I knew it, but I wasn't. Like, I was still there and was like, well, screw it. We're just going to go and give this a shot. It reminded me so much of my brother that I couldn't do it. So I ended up leaving, and the only ride that I had was her dad. So I'm like, well, I know he'll come get me, so he comes and he gets me. The rehab place treated me like shit. I was a problem because I wanted to leave. So on the way home, we're driving, and he wants to take me out to his family. Somehow he ended up with my oldest daughter. Okay. And he asked me for sexual favors, and I turned him down. I had just went through something previous to the rehab to where anything sexual was not an option. Understood. You know what I mean? And especially with the relationship that I had with him, this wasn't the first time. There's times where he would ask me for sex for my social security card. All of this is documented.
Yeah.
This is you could look, I mean, there's nothing that's made up with any of it.
And that to me is that's right. Or close to damn enough, you know.
Yeah, it ultimately was one of the things that I went through. I've never been somebody that ever thought that suicide was an option in taking your life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That wasn't me. Like you could talk about the drugs, you could talk about me being fast, you could talk about me being a home wrecker, you could say all the above. And there might even be some truth into that because I was still maturing.
Yeah.
But as far as not feeling like I was good enough to be here, that did not start until the bullying started. Yeah. So that's why I feel like as an adult, it's very important to know what that looks like and to know that that's not okay.
Yep.
And not to be quiet about it.
Yep.
And to kind of learn yourself because there's ways to take your power back. And since I've been sober and I face them now, I utilize some of them tools that I didn't even know I was doing until I educated myself.
Awesome.
But the day when he was taking me home, we got to the train station here in town, and he said that he said he had $1,500 and basically was asking me to hook up and told me he'd give me his whole paycheck.
Oh, fuck.
And I'm sitting in here, and this is personal, but it is a part of my story. It was the first time that I'd ever contracted like an STD or anything like that.
Understood.
So I was devastated. I had this medicine in my hand. I'm not even coherent. I pretty much sold my soul before this. It was bottom of the barrel type situation.
I understand.
And so I said that to him, and it still didn't matter. It still just wanted it, and you could see it radiating off of him that he was pissed
build up and build
that he could not have it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Here before that, he's calling me a whore and saying all of these things, and I said, "You're right. The homeless man down the road will probably have a better shot than you.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They probably got more character than you, and they have nothing.
Yep. I am so sorry.
It's okay.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Seriously.
So with the rejection, that's also something that's very dangerous when you're dealing with somebody like that.
Yep.
I've noticed that rejection will make somebody insane.
Yeah.
And go completely mad. And it's a very dangerous situation. Yep. So I'm crying and I'm telling him that I don't want to go out there. I don't want my kids to see me this way. Well, he tells me, fuck you, bitch. You can get the fuck out of my car.
Damn.
Opens the door. It's raining. I've got my totes in from rehab, my bags. I'm not even coherent. I guarantee you I couldn't have even spelled my name if you really needed me to.
Understood.
So he dumps me out on the side of the road. I've got 2 totes with me. I'm dragging them down the road. This older couple and this pickup truck ended up picking me up.
Good.
And they take me to my apartment. But when I got to my apartment, I had like a mental snap. I think that I ended up using that night, and then it transpired into me completely demolishing my whole apartment. I flipped over the stove, put holes in the wall, lights, everything was shattered. Like anything that could break and bring me some kind of gratification for that moment happened.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, nobody had heard from me, and I think my mom came to check on me. And the saddest part about it is I still have it. It's a little purse that I bought for my daughter when I was supposed to be staying here and I couldn't. And it went to some type of dress or outfit that I had for her. But my mom she showed up there, comes downstairs, the door's wide open, glasses broke from one end of the apartment to the other. And I'm laying there curled up in a ball covered in blood. And the only thing I'm holding is this little purse of my kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is something that's very emotional for me. And what I was going through was like, if I didn't give him what he wanted, I was losing everything. And he had me to the point to where I didn't think that I was good enough for my kid. Yeah. I didn't know what life looked like, but I know that I wanted her and I needed her. Yep. And it was just a ploy and a game. And then once we tried again, it was the same thing. He ended up assaulting me in the house and got a technicality and got away with it. Yep. So here I am in the pool of all of this mess and bullying and domestic violence, and nobody heard me. Yep. Nobody cared. And it was a point where I left. It's not like there wasn't one conversation that could ever lead this man to think that there was any chance in the world. And then, so that after that situation happened, like I said, and I got her back, I got the apartment. It still happened. It still, once we had the apartment, they were driving past the apartment, stalking me. I started to get an opportunity with the Welcome Home organization. Okay. That's where my taco stand came into play. So it was like, I see a lot of people that come on here and they're established, they've got something that they own or that they've acquired through their journey. And I'm like right at that breaks, like right there to where the opportunity is there. It's just a little bit more work type thing. Yeah. So the taco spot was like my first thing that was mine. Awesome. I'm like, I don't care. I went from slinging drugs to slinging tacos and feeding the South Side.
Hell yeah.
But even that became a thing to where People would say that they got food poisoning and would try to ruin what I had going on. Or, you know, the family said I stole their taco recipe because the mom made tacos that way. They would send their people there just to test the food.
Yeah.
I got a job in the daycare. They would contact the daycare and send them old drug photos and say that I was a drug addict and that I abused children.
Yeah.
To where they tried to stop that job. To where we're at currently, there's 5 standing PPOs that I've had in the last 5 years.
To hate somebody that much is just absolutely insane.
And
to
if
me.
you were to sit down and ask
That's
them,
crazy.
they couldn't give you an answer.
Why?
There's
Like,
no
why
there's
do you
no
hate her?
reason.
Yeah,
Just for my existence.
just for living.
So that's where it becomes dangerous when you live in a world for being genuine.
Yeah.
And how do you balance trying to be this new person or who you truly are and not go back to the person that everybody liked when you were down and out and maintain that? It's like, okay, when I was a piece of shit, everybody loved me.
Yeah.
And then the second that I went back to my roots and who I am, here we are.
I just read something that said it really sucks because all these people that I loved and all these people part of my life, they were with me at my worst.
Yeah.
Now that I'm at my best, I have nobody. I'm like,
Nobody.
it's crazy.
But if you pay attention, there's a reason for that. And
Yeah.
life really will rearrange that because the love that I give out is beautiful. And I give everybody a chance. You know, I still have soft spots for her dad, but I have to stay true to the fact. And even with the system, with the court system, 3 weeks ago, we went in for, it was like a 6-month review or something like that. And I'm trying to show them that the sister is still stalking me.
Yeah.
They're telling me who's at my house was just recent. 2 months ago, I got the PPO approved.
Okay.
She posts online and calls my daughter, her daughter. She's the aunt.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Determined to take my child, saying they're not stopping, and the posts and just even the defamation of character, if you would, if it could go that legal, that's exactly what it would be.
Yep.
Because of the jobs, that anything that I've tried to acquire, they try to take.
Yep.
So where I got the PPO, and like I said, there's 5 of them.
Yeah.
And since 2019, every single one of them have gotten approved. If you read all the paperwork, it's the same thing. You're not going to find one of those on me with them.
Yeah.
You're not going to find me calling jobs. You're not going to find me harassing them.
No.
So with the last one that was just recently approved, we go into the front of the judge and I get the PPO granted on her and try to show them the chaos that's going on and how the aunt is a big part in all of this bullying. The original judge who signed the PPO, when we went in front of, I think it was the judge for the custody stuff, she says, well, you guys just must not like each other.
Do you mind if I ask what judge it was?
It was an older female judge. I can't remember her name. I was actually excited because I thought a female, maybe somebody will hear me.
Yeah.
It's not about me not liking this man. It's about being dangerous.
Yeah.
I have read some things on some of the new laws and stuff, but it should absolutely 100% be a law that if there is so much domestic violence against a woman, you should have no right and access to the child.
Period.
They manipulate her when she comes back from her families, from her dad's.
Yep.
It's a transition for at least a week.
Well, and if the guy beats on the mom,
Yes.
Is it that far-fetched to think that the guy might beat on the daughter?
Absolutely.
Is it, to
Yeah.
me, that's not
I
far-fetched.
witnessed it. He
Yeah.
snapped on her one night when I was staying with him because of the rejection.
Mhm.
She didn't like the dynamic of us being in the same room, and he didn't understand that.
Yep.
Like, look at our daughter. She's anxious. She's asking for his attention, and he snapped on us. I'm just trying to talk to your mom.
Yeah.
And so right then I knew that was a possibility.
Yep.
You are that person, and you can try to paint that to whoever you want.
Yeah.
But there's still secrets that I hold that are way worse than that prove that.
Yeah.
So hearing a judge say that to me,
Yeah.
I get so pissed off.
I'd
Like, you
be
shouldn't even be
fuming.
up there.
Yeah.
You've got to be
Yeah.
the biggest idiot, and I don't care who that offends.
Yeah.
You hold a lot of power, and you can't read between these lines, and I'm the one that's uneducated, the dropout.
Yeah.
And you don't see the problem. You don't see the pattern. It's not even blaming.
Yep.
A pattern.
Yep.
A repeated pattern, right?
That's what I hate about the justice system.
They take what they want. They take little pieces of the little piece of this, the little piece of that. We don't want to hear it just because you've had 50 other people who then find a different job.
Well, and exactly, and they're still humans.
Right.
So humans have fucking beliefs and all this thing. So you don't know. Maybe she's an abuser. You really don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So she might be siding with him because of her own beliefs. Like they're still people. They're flawed. People are flawed. And same with like the jury of your peers.
Yeah.
I've never been in front of a jury of my peers. Okay. Like I'm just gonna say it. But the system's flawed.
It very much so is. And I just learned to not be intimidated by them no more. When I first started this journey, I was.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I could give a shit less because you don't have any of this paperwork. I've saved it. I've documented everything. If they went back and they cared enough to finally stand up for somebody and pay attention, they would see every bit of it. And I've told them, I hope that I don't end up dead and on the news because you guys just don't get it. People are relentless and will not stop. Like I said, down to follow me. I would leave the shelter and they would follow me. Driving past my house. And they always have a friend of a friend of a foe of somebody that's around how they know my business. Yeah. They're one street over. Well, the other kid's dad lives here. The girlfriend lives here. The friend lives here. But why are they so obsessed with me? Yeah. Following me to jobs. Yeah. Police reports. I couldn't even tell you how many police reports I've made that are documented with it. Yeah. And so I think that a lot of that does get overlooked as being not only in domestic violence, but dealing with the chaos of that to where there isn't enough awareness for that. Yeah. Because I went to the system thinking, and I told them, you guys are all I have as far as my safety. Yep. If I take it into my own hands, then there's going to be a problem. And the only thing that I have is to carry around a little piece of paper that I'm scared to get some peace. Yeah. And at this point, it doesn't matter, what it looks like, being harassed and not being able to leave your home and be putting yourself in it. And that's what bullying does. It puts you in a mental psychosis of depression, anxiety, not feeling good enough, questioning yourself, questioning my motherhood. There's been many a times where I'm like, well, do I just give up? Do I just give them my kid? Because it's never going to stop, or I'm going to end up dead. And then there was multiple judges that said, well, you guys just can't seem to get along. But now if I was to turn around and say, well, I think you're a fucking idiot. Well, then I'm the bad guy. And I'm speaking, then I'm in contempt. Yeah. Well, I want to hold you in contempt for being an idiot and not doing your job and seeing this. Yeah. And so that's been my biggest struggle, is just even dealing with all of that and trying to navigate that and to show people how dangerous that can be to the point where you're wanting to take your own life.
And I think bullying is harder nowadays. Clearly, bullying is not a good thing. Bullying's always been hard. But when I was a kid, I got bullied at school. I got to go home. I didn't get bullied till the next day because we didn't have the internet. We didn't have phones. Now, bullying doesn't stop. Bullying is 24/7. If somebody, you're pretty much just proving it.
I mean, even all the stuff that they put on their Facebook. While we were going through the custody and the legal things, you're not going to find one post with that family on my Facebook in over 3-4 years. Yeah. I've been very new. I've tried to respect that family. But when you get on there, everything and anything that I've ever done is on there, which doesn't bother me any because it's my life. I'm not ashamed of that. I can hold myself accountable. Yeah, I went off the deep end. But the work that I put in outside of, I don't have, and it's nothing against anybody else, but I didn't have those drug charges. I didn't have those things pending. And guess what? Because I didn't have those pending, even in my recovery, I still didn't get help. There wasn't a home that I could apply for. I had just lost my house after losing my mom. Any place that I went to, I didn't fit because I didn't have the track record behind me. So I was a nobody. So that's when I had to learn through my bosses that sometimes you don't need that pat on the butt. You don't need that gratification. You don't need that reassurance. You know who you are. And once you sit in that, and you can, that's why even like we talked about recovery, the out loud kind of stuff, I feel like it's isolation for preparation. That's huge for me. So my isolation and my misery didn't like company. So I needed to sit with that. I did this and I knowingly did it. And a lot of people that are addicts play the victim. Well, I'm just doing this because I did. Okay. But you have to hold yourself accountable. Because you did that, you're losing your house, you're losing your children. Exactly. I can say that about me. I can say it about you know what I mean? Because I'm not the victim in that. I chose that. But I don't need the court system or anybody else telling me how to get it right. I'm going to do it. And that's what makes or breaks you. Not everybody is meant to come out of that. If that's the case, we'd be in a way overpopulated world. There are things that you have to prove back to the world, to source, to what you believe in, that you're worthy. Because none of it is just going to be given to you.
Not a thing.
So anything that I did in those moments, I can take the accountability and I can come back and say that that's not a life for me anymore, but it's part of who I am. I mean, even in conversations with people, they'll say, well, why do you talk about some of your drug stories? It's because they're fucking funny. They're hilarious. Like I was I thought I was the plumber, the electrician, the investigator, the you know what I mean, the judge. I was all of that. It was a part of who I am and my creativity. That's who I am sober. I got to open and explore that even while I was using. But again, with the bullying, that's where that comes full circle, because those people are like, how is she doing this? We can't stand her. But I want that for everybody. I wish people knew how to do that type of work and really turned inward and didn't let the world steer them in one direction or the other, because there's so much stigma on everything. I don't know how anybody walks out of their house and makes a decision. I can't most of the time. I get mad when I go to the store and there's 20 different things of salt.
Yeah, seriously. Yep.
Or 20 different kinds of mayonnaise.
No, and I truly love the way you are because I'm kind of the same way. I wasn't just a drunk. I was a pissed to bed drunk. That's what I said. And well, why do you say it like that? At an AA meeting, I'm not Nathan and an alcoholic. I'm Nathan and I'm a pissed to bed drunk.
Yeah.
Well, why do you? I wear everything on my sleeve because if more people talk the way we talk, then the stigmas would end and there wouldn't be so much. Okay, so good example. Derek Dobies comes on. He talks about he's got a DUI. It's public knowledge. He got a DUI. He fucking T-boned a JPD officer. And he became the mayor, right?
Right.
So, but he doesn't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing bad, whatever. I get it, Derek. But if you, the mayor, talked about this, more people would feel confident to tell their story.
Yeah.
Like you telling your story
Absolutely.
makes a lot of people more confident. Like, oh, fuck, if she can talk about that, I can
And
talk about this.
Yeah. And I hope that they do because it's who you are. You should never be ashamed of that.
Nah.
If you're not going to sit here and listen to my funny ass drug stories, and we don't need to talk.
Yeah.
Because they
Straight
were
up.
a big part of my life.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean, and being in the work that I have put in, and to do it the way that I did, I can't speak for everybody else, but I can say that it's worth trying.
Yes, it is.
I think that it's worth exploring. I think that a lot of people, too many people, lean into the idea of always needing that help.
Yeah.
You are so much stronger than what you ever realized.
Yeah.
And the one thing, and during those times for me, I didn't need no outside influence. I didn't need one. I don't like being told what to do as it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can't tell I'm going to do the opposite. I even wrote a judge and was like, they wanted to put me in AA. And I said, no, you're not.
Yep.
Let me do it my way.
Yep.
If I do it this way and I can do it,
Mhm.
and if I don't, then you can punish me the way you can put me in timeout.
Just like you were going to
Like
anyway.
you're going to anyway.
Yeah.
But let me do it my way because
Yep.
I don't like being told. You don't need to tell me. You don't know me. You know what's in front of you on paper.
Yep.
There's so much more.
Yeah. Don't send it to me to AA. Send it to me to church. Oh,
Right.
we don't do that. Well,
Right,
okay.
because that was a big part of my healing was church.
Yep.
And I never had that in my life. And once I experienced that, I got back to the roots
Yep.
of what we were talking about when I said the Jungle Book about the bare necessities of life. Even the bare essentials of life.
Yeah.
However you want to put that together is just love.
Yep.
And understanding.
Yep.
I seen a guy. I was driving one day, and it was early in the morning, and he was high as shit,
Mhm.
and he was over there kicking the telephone pole or some pole.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing. Like a part of me wanted to get out and go kick the thing with him.
Yeah.
And just have that moment because they're no different. They still need people.
Yeah.
And they need people to understand.
Yeah.
And with the family that I'm involved with as far as co-parenting, it makes it very difficult to be yourself, to be bullied, to watching your back, trying to get these people to understand just because of your presence. And a lot of people won't like you because of your presence.
Well, in the world likes pointing fingers. So it's like, so that guy kicking the light post might be, I'm just going to say heroin for an example. So he's high on heroin.
Mhm.
Now the guy driving by who's, fucking makes, let's say 200,000 a year that already took fucking 10 Norcos.
Yeah.
Thinks he's better than that guy. Buddy, you're the same fucking person.
Yeah.
You just happen to have money. That's the only fucking difference.
Yeah, and that's ironic that you say that because one of the conversations with my daughter's dad was he likes to reference junkies, right? I hate that word.
Yep.
I absolutely I could call myself that, but to belittle somebody in that way. And the funny part is he's calling that person a junkie, but was smoking crack the entire time we were going through custody battle with our daughter.
Yeah.
That he never told nobody.
Yeah.
Full blown 1,500, almost like $3,000 into a drug dealer here in town.
Yeah.
Looking for him.
Yep.
Smoking crack in and out. And we're going through court.
Yeah,
But it was hidden.
Yeah. Yep.
Mine was out in the public and I didn't care. He was just mad because he couldn't get into the equation with me.
Yep.
So he just used that to embarrass me.
Yep.
Things that people really didn't need to know at that time. I wasn't strong enough at that point to be able to voice my own story.
Mhm.
So for you to take that from me, you've taken a lot. You've taken my you've mentally raped me.
Mhm.
You have, sexually abused me.
Mhm.
You have done all of these things. And yet you still walk into the FOC and can put on a different mask and they believe you.
Yep.
And I have to sit there and eat it. And when I tell you that I have a folder of from the beginning to the end of proof, and it's overlooked.
Yep.
The courts won't see it. They just want me to. They want me to co-parent with him. It's never. You know what I mean? It goes good for a little bit, and then it turns weird and psychotic.
Yeah.
It's them thinking they can pull up in my driveway. They can tell me who to date. Anything that I do has to be approved by them.
Yeah. And co-parenting means me and you can stand each other enough for the good of the kid.
Right.
Co-parenting doesn't mean that you get to tell me fucking anything.
But
You
how
don't
do you
get to tell me-
co-parent with somebody that
Yeah.
domestically abused you they have the little wheel for the abuse. Every single thing on there has happened to me in my life at one point or another. This is just one situation. I've gone through very many near-death experiences of men being rejected by me and my presence and, you know, just who I am as a person with the love of not even knowing how to do with it. But so it's very hard for me to sit back and all of that and just look at that as a whole and not have anybody hear you, not have anybody understand you or listen to you and think that you're just out here, you're hating this person. This is just aggression. This is animosity. I don't know how to co-parent with somebody that abused me. How is he gonna properly raise my daughter? You tell me how that looks. Look at his record. Look at the history. Look at the sexual abuse that happened with the other side of his others with his son. It's all documented there. I don't know how to that it should be illegal for that to happen. It's not fair. I could see when, you know, people divorce and it's sticky and it's messy or a breakup's messy. I get that. But there has to be a level of where there's a deeper investigation when it comes to custody and what that looks like for the safety of the children. If somebody is able to make a mother think that she is unworthy of parenting her children where she wants to kill herself, and for the first time in her life actually almost put that into action, if it wouldn't have been for somebody knowing me so well, I'm taking the keys, I would have put my car through a tree. Because that's where I was at. And that seems completely unfair. And we can tell a judge that. Do you think they're really going to believe you, or is it a poor pity party? So I just had to learn to build myself up and strength-wise and realize what it takes to break a bully, what their insecurities are, and to where it's basically manipulating the manipulator kind of to keep your safety. Because outside of that, I don't have anybody even still to this day.
Well,
it's still just me and my kids.
If you ever need anything, we are here. I know that's not what you're speaking of, but seriously.
I mean, my community, don't get me wrong, they do back me. I feel the presence. I know it's there. So it's just like recently we've gotten to a place to where it's safe enough for me. I feel it might even been back then, but for me to speak about it, because there's days where I get so upset where I look at all this documentation and I look at the pictures of me being abused. I'm covered in bruises and everything, and I've gone to jail over it, and I'm the one that was hit. So it's seeing all of that, and I've held it in, and it's been like this thing where somebody has to hear me. You know what I mean? I can't just swallow this because none of this is okay, and even the court system doesn't stand behind me as a mother. Those are my babies. You know, you carry those children. My babies are always safe with me, and most of the mothers out there, they're probably safe with them, but they don't get heard. The Aware Shelter was probably the only place that gave me that space, even on bad days where I might have been angry or upset. They were right there to support me.
Well, that's what aggravates me about the court system. I mean, seriously. So fucking McBain is a good example, or even Wilson. The fucking guys get a fucking DUI. They leave a bar. They get a DUI. They're a judge.
They hold power.
And then they have the right to sentence me after I got a DUI. So what? So you did nothing for your DUI. And now you have the nerve to tell me what I deserve because of my DUI. Now, mind you, I can take accountability. I was in the wrong. I get all that. I'm not passing the buck. But how can you judge me?
But it's bigger than that, though, because there's so much deception behind that. I don't care what degree, what license, where you are in the system. I don't want no favors. You ain't handed me nothing. You better use what you have and do it the right way, because that's the only way I see it. It's you either there's a wrong way and a right way. There is no in between. You don't get to be a judge and slide passes to these people that are abusing and are criminals that refuse to change because they're your family. You don't get to drink on the stand and go home on lunch and have a drink.
Because you're a judge.
Because you're a judge. That makes it 10 times worse. Your ass should be in prison. Because you would hold no space for nobody else. So if you make it look good to the public, but behind closed doors, every bit of it's fake.
Chief Pittman is one of my favorite people ever. And I bring him up because he's said you should be held to a higher standard. He's a police officer. I am held to higher standards, what he says. I just wish law enforcement is a good example, but judges, anybody in that, I wish they would take notes from him. Like, seriously, I do. Because that dude's got it together. Like, that is what I'm like. If a judge had your couth, if the lawyers had what you have, I think the system would just be a little bit better.
And they know that when they go into these, when they take these jobs and these career paths, the thing is that when people end up with money in these careers, they think that gives them favor. And that's where they're still doing it wrong. And that's when their careers get demolished. And eventually the truth comes to light, because, and if you're a spiritual person, you know that money and that fame, if you're chasing it, is wrong anyways.
Exactly.
So it's only going to last for a certain amount of time. And those doors for these judges are finally popping open. The corruption is finally being seen. And it's sad because there's a lot of people that didn't have the money, that didn't have the connections, that don't have that ability. I know for a fact that my kid's dad and them have pull in the courthouse out of the Brooklyn Police Department out there. That's where they wanted us to meet for the exchange. And I said, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Those are their best friends.
Yeah. Yeah. No
They
shit.
say this is all in court documents of the pull that they have.
Yep.
So I'm not doing any of that. I don't trust any bit of that.
Yep.
And unfortunately, going through this with him and his family and some of the things that I went through outside of that, I have no faith in that.
One piece of solace that I get, and it's never wishing bad upon anybody, but I read this thing. So this guy leads a perfect life, right? Or it feels like it's perfect. He never has nothing bad happen to him. He lived a good life. He makes all this money, but he's actually a really big piece of shit. And he lived this whole good life. Why did I need God? Is what he says. Well, the devil let you lead that good of a life, so you never went to God. So when you're burning in hell, even though you lived a great life, I'll be smiling in eternity. Yeah. So it's just it at least gives me solace that knowing that you reap what you sow. I mean, no matter what, at the end of this life, you will be judged. So
Absolutely.
That's all. So
and I think that just within the community and the stuff that I've been through and the things that I've seen, I've witnessed many other adults that get bullied, and it absolutely breaks my heart. Yeah. It's sickening. It is what it does to you psychologically is the biggest part, because you don't get parts of that back. Every domestic situation, that's when I sit in my own space and I cry, because the people that abuse you and that take your innocence from you, it changes the makeup of who you are. I still have a beautiful heart, but they don't know the struggles of coming out of that. Coming out of this situation that I just went through with this family, I have developed like my stuttering when I get really anxious, or the things that I have noticed that have changed me. The way my brain works because of the domestic violence and the abuse. I don't think the same. I'm paranoid still. I have cameras all over my house. Just the feeling that I have that they're never going to see that. They've moved on. They have children. Life is going to continue for them. They're still doing these things to these other people. And then you have those people behind closed doors that are completely broken and don't know who they are. There's been many times during the beginning of my recovery where I would look in the mirror and had to hold, because I did put up with it because of the loving person that I am. And it was something that I had to go through. I mean, God really did build me pretty tough. You know what I mean? And I wish that I wouldn't have gone through those things. So the only thing that I know is to speak on that, is to bring awareness to that you are stronger than you will ever realize if you just depend solely on you and source, whatever that looks like, whatever belief system that you have. But you're a bad mamma jamma if you want to be, or you can be the biggest piece of shit in the world. But that truth eventually does come to light. And that's the only thing that I hope is that for people that are watching it, that do see that in mothers and even fathers. I used to advocate for the fathers, because there were shitty moms. And look what happened to me. I turned around and had the biggest piece of shit for a kid's father. And he has everything that a woman actually goes through, only I'm having it done to me by the man. You know what I mean? They are the ones that are in there fighting for custody, and he can go in there and cry and say all of these things, but really he's the abuser. And because he's a man and he's very good at putting on that mask, he's gotten away with it for all of this time.
Man, I'm glad you got your kids back.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
That was the best day ever.
Yeah, I bet.
It was the best day. It really was. I remember when the police showed up and there was a court order to bring her back.
That's great.
For a pickup order. And
great.
I had a court-appointed attorney, Joanne Locks, I think, but she was phenomenal.
Awesome.
She knew her stuff, and but she was very calm and patient, and she was kind of black and white, like, no, they can't do this. This is illegal, and this is why, and here's the steps that we're going to fix it.
Awesome. So you don't have to worry for future retaliation. Like, do you have full custody from here on out? I have full
everything. It's up to our discretion. He can go and he can hire an attorney if he wanted to, and he could try to prove any allegations. But the one thing about my mental, I will never let that be somebody else's playground. So I stay sober for that.
Period.
Solely, because then when I'm sober, I'm untouchable. I'm a beast. There is nothing that you're going to do that is going to sway me one way or the other, whether it's going back and picking up a bottle. And I get that everybody has I can't say that would never be a situation for me, but I know what I've gone through of being a mother and having that stripped from me. I could never do that against my children. I have been through it all. Heartbreak, losing my home, losing my mom, all of those things, to where the biggest with my children, the look of disappointment is heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. It's not anything. And what I've gone through as a child, I don't ever want my 15-year-old or my 13-year-old, excuse me, to ever see that again.
Yeah.
That's who I'm scared of letting down. I know that she's teetering in a spot where if I lose her now, there's no coming back.
Gotcha.
So
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Really, I am, man. So before we wrap up, seriously, thank you for this. I'll ask kind of a revised version of our wrap up questions, because it's your second time back. But I do want to say, just to relate, and also just maybe to drop some things, because you talk about bullying and you being bullied and all this stuff. But I also think we should touch at least a little bit, maybe not long, but like bullying can just be because two friends are together and then the third guy out. That's
Right.
bullying. Like there's a lot of versions of adult bullying.
there is.
Like, I mean, even an employer kind of picking on an employee.
Oh, absolutely.
That's bullying.
It's weakness. It's learning your weakness and using it against you.
Exactly.
But if you can learn that those weaknesses are okay, and sometimes, again, whatever you believe in, life will give you a shitty boss to test you, what you're going to put up with.
Yep.
Life will throw obstacles at you to show you that just because they're a person in authority, just because it's your boss, just because it is who they are, does not mean that they have those rights over top of you to belittle you.
Yep.
Because there's only one way to make it work, and that it takes all of us.
Mhm.
And you can leave those situations. There's no reason for anybody to be abused, to feel neglected, to feel betrayed, to be picked on.
Yep.
And then that does come in all forms. It's not my situation with the family was just the most extreme situation. But I have been in lots of situations where I see people that might not have those educational skills to meet that job and that are picked on and made fun of for that.
Yep.
There's lots, even just down to people seeing somebody walking on the sidewalk and but you have to learn that those things aren't okay.
Yep. Anybody
Anybody who sits in a room and is like, well, look at that fucking piece of shit.
Yep.
Look at their boots that they got on.
Mhm.
Didn't they think to dress correctly before they left the house?
Yep.
Who cares?
Yes, exactly.
Who cares if
Exactly.
they got shit stains on their pants? Why don't you go get a sweatshirt and cover them up?
Exactly. Giving 2 pennies to the homeless guy on the side of the
Right.
road, that's bullying.
Yeah.
2 fucking pennies. Get the
Yes.
fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
like they're bullying it. And it's crazy because now that I'm sober, I didn't even realize that was me. And I'd be a fucking liar if I didn't. Before Chief Pittman's episode started, the camera caught something. I didn't realize that we were live. I was saying, how can I say this part of my story and that part of my story and leave this part out?
Right.
That's not me being transparent. Me being transparent is I used to fucking bully Katie when I was a drunk and I didn't even fucking know it.
Yeah.
I used to bully my mom when I was fucking taking too many pills. I didn't even know it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was
You
me.
don't, because you become accustomed to it. I can say that I've gone through these things and I've learned that, but also learning that is I've done those things too.
Yep.
I had somebody that I truly cared about and treated him like a complete rag doll.
Yeah.
Because I had done it so many times. If you gave me the opportunity to walk all over you, I would.
Yep.
Beauty became something of a weapon of mine that I use in my life because that's the way that I was raised.
Yep.
So when I met my match and I realized what I was doing, once I obtained that sobriety, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that that's who I was. Like, I could not even fathom the fact that I would just walk by and smack somebody or tear apart their things and throw them in the front yard and annihilate our home.
Yep.
Or somebody asking me just to stay home, but I had to go out and drink and be that person.
Yep.
But after years of abuse, you start to mirror that. You become what you hated.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for me. And that was what happened to me. I'm like, damn, I can't even say nothing.
Oh shit.
What did I do?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
became everything that I'm not okay with.
Yeah. Everything I said I would never be.
Yeah. But once you come to that realization though, and you realize that, that's also okay. Like even hearing you say that about some of the things that you put your wife through and those things, it's what makes you guys stronger when you can realize that and fix it.
Well,
And she sees the change and she knows it, and she believed in you knowing that that's not who you were. That's beautiful. That's love.
Well, it is crazy to me because in the moment of it, I thought she was full of shit. That's not what I'm doing. And then, like, in hindsight,
I had to take that
I'd have
step back.
fucking left me. Like,
Yeah.
I would have. I'd have fucking left me.
Yeah.
And
I got left. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
I was the one that would take off.
Yeah.
And I had that control for a little bit. And with my last relationship, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
It was, you keep doing this and I'm gone. I'm like,
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, you left.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you come back?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Yep. Well, man, grace is something you don't deserve. And I got given a lot of grace.
Yeah.
thank you for having the courage to tell that part of your story.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to the next time that we get together because
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll figure out something.
We will.
My normal wrap up questions, but a little different. Is there anything that I didn't ask that I should have? Is there anything you want to share that we might have missed?
I don't think so. I think more or less today was just kind of coming on and just having an open conversation where it was, because I'm all over. So sometimes my conversations are like that, to where I didn't really want to talk about success and all of those things and what that looks like. I kind of wanted to touch on some of the other topics that really don't get talked about, you know,
Yes,
and kind
ma'am.
of just a back and forth.
No, this was seriously, this was perfect. Sorry. Is there, so no definition of success, no story. Are you happy with the way that today went?
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Perfect. That's all I
Yeah.
need to know.
I see
then.
you growing, and
Yeah.
I see the different people that you have on here. And I wanted to kind of switch up the dynamic today and it not
Awesome.
be so much of like where you are from beginning to
Yeah.
end, to kind of shake it up a little bit
Mhm.
and kind of talk about some different things
No,
and
this
just
was
kind of
great.
let it be.
No,
you
and,
know?
and this is the type of shit that shows me that
Yeah.
we can clearly new person, we have our thing, but this
Right,
shows me
yes.
that we can do other shit. Like we
Yeah.
can, there's so much more inspiration than just somebody's story. So
Right, absolutely.
thank you for this, really.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
So nothing big, but we got you a gas card this week.
That's huge. What are you talking about?
Well, and then a couple of my business cards, so maybe you can hand them out to people. But this
Yeah.
week, just $20 from Citgo. Citgo Petroleum makes the products that fuel everyday life. They refine, transport, and market motor fuels, lubricants, petrochemicals, all that fancy stuff. But it's really just a gas card. So I mean, good. I mean, good for them. But really, it's just so you can put gas in your
So
car.
I can gas and go.
Yeah.
All right.
So and did you already sign our table?
I thought I did, and I'm looking and I don't see it. So
Okay. Well,
maybe I got nervous and ran out.
well, I was about to say we'll cut this and then will you sign our table?
Yes.
Awesome. So let me end this. That's ending on Facebook. Naptown 10. Chief Pittman liked it. I didn't I didn't realize.